Pokemon Gold and Silver actually had an early version of the games which was called Spaceworld Demo. And when you think about the word Space World, you think of something like astronauts and space, galaxies, but it just was called like that because it was at the Nintendo Space World event in 1997, and at the time the final game was estimated to be about 80% complete, which is a lot. 2018 was when they found photographs and ROM files that were the Gold and Silver demos, and they were anonymously posted online. And there's a lot of new changes. This game was completely different, I tell you. It really shows us what Gold and Silver really could have been. There's actually no option to give the player a gender or a name. It is automatically a boy named Satoshi or Shigeru, depending on if you have gold or silver. The player begins in a town called Silent Hill. Silent Hill was basically like the replacement of New Bark Town. And New Bark Town looks way more colorful, right? But Silent Hill looks kind of creepy. It was kind of dead and there really was not much color. That's why it was called Silent Hill, because it's silent. And the player will have 3,000 Pokédollars by default. So no one even gives you money, like not even the mom or the characters, the professor. The crazy thing is that the player already also has 8 badges, and one of the 3 first partner Pokemon is randomly chosen. There's no option to choose any of the starters. What's very funny is that they kept Chikorita for the final game, but they didn't keep these other 2, which definitely could have been the Johto starters. One is this fire type, and it only has Tackle and Leer, no fire type moves, even though it's just level 8, so that's weird, because usually level 8 Pokemon learn their moves. The next one, the water Pokemon, just has the regular moves Tackle and Growl, Water Gun, and the player's bag already has like 5 Pokeballs, 10 potions, 10 full heals. That is a lot. The game is just treating you, but they can't really pick the partner Pokemon once again, which is unfortunate. Another really brutal thing about this game was the Pokemon Center is actually gone from this game. It is there, but it's inaccessible because whenever you try to go through it, it says that it's under repair. And there's also no way to spend money in the demo, which is unfortunate because you can't buy any items. And the demo will also end if the player blacks out. There's no second chances, no healing, it's just done. And the rival is also automatically named Shigeru, although that's funny because earlier the trainer's name was meant to be Shigeru. The demo was meant to be played on Game Boy hardware and was not designed to take advantage of the colors. Now for this game, the day and night system is present, but due to running on a Game Boy color scheme, the change in colors for the time of the day are just shades of blue. The type charts were completely different as well, like the types. Normal was actually super effective against dark, and water and electric was super effective against metal. That would have been good against Olivine City's gym. Poison was also resisted by metal type. And like I mentioned earlier, the game was meant to be publicly played at Spaceworld, so there is no continue option as the player is not able to save. PCs were also not able to use, so we can't even store Pokemon. A lot of these Pokemon could have actually been in the final games. Now Chikorita was called Happa, which kind of sounds like happy. The second form was completely different compared to Bayleaf. It was turned into this, and for the fire starters, it was called Hanaguma. It kind of looked like Typhlosion, this one. They really wanted to base it off of a lion animal. Ho-Oh looked the same, but when it evolved, it looked like I actually like this one better than the Noctowl one. It looks so plump and it looks like a grape. So if they actually kept this Ho-Oh final design, it would have been nice. And I really like how Mareep was gonna be pink. This one, I'm assuming it is Vulpix. It looks like Vulpix, but for some reason it is a water type. And the Manja, this is the one that was going to be Tangela, but it got scrapped because they didn't want to really make it look too much like Medusa. Hane and Puku, this is a Quillfish. And Pichu did not look like this. They were gonna make Pichu look like this, like the baby form of Pikachu, because as we know, like daycare centers, Pichu is now just looking like this. And Marill was also gonna be pink. I guess they really have a thing with pink Pokemon in this game. And Parasect, instead of the mushroom coming out from its back, it was gonna stand on a mushroom, and it was just called Para. And there was also gonna be like a twin looking Pokemon that kind of looks like Ghastly. It has like 2 faces, and that's mainly like the twins. This is the one they wanted to make like mutation Pokemon, where they had like 2 forms of each other, like doppelgangers. Espeon and Umbreon was going to look completely different. Umbreon was gonna have purple rings, and it was meant to shoot poison from its body. And Espeon was going to look like this. It actually looks way better. It looks cute, like a golden cat. And there's also going to be this Ditto looking Pokemon that is a poison type. And Delibird was originally going to be water and ice type, but they changed it to a flying type. which doesn't really make sense because penguins usually swim in the water. We could assume that this is Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, the beginnings of their names, the forms that they have, like the dogs, the legendary dogs. They were electric, fire, and water type, so this is what the legendary beast could have actually turned out to be. I'm really glad they didn't turn out to be like that. I mean, the electric type of Raikou looks pretty cool, but Suicune just doesn't really have a face, and Entei looks pretty basic. So I'm glad that they just reinvented all these concepts. And I think that could have been Celebi as well, because this is entry number 251 in the Pokédex for Gold and Silver. And Ho-Oh was gonna be like a whole abomination of all these feathers and wings. It just looked messy. And remember when Porygon was in Gen 1? Well, Gen 2, they wanted to make Porygon kind of like a dog or a teddy bear looking thing. It looks like a flower dog. And some of them they kept the same, like Slowking. And also another thing to mention is that trainers were completely going to look different. Like Faulkner was gonna have a headband on his head like a martial arts person. Whitney was actually gonna have a placeholder sprite of a bug catcher. Maybe that's why she was crying, because she was gonna be a bug catcher, but she ultimately ended up to have a milk tank. And Bugsy was also gonna look like more taller and masculine. Jasmine also had a different design, like she was originally going to be a ghost type gym leader, it was suggested, and the map was based on an earlier arrangement of leaders. And a lot of the Kanto trainers that come to Johto were gonna have a Kurt sprite, like all of them almost. But he just ended up making Pokeballs. As for the map, the grass tiles were often treated as walls. It looks pretty small, but it does look similar to the current map. I see that they didn't have the Lake of Rage yet, and they also didn't have like the mountains. They just had like the simple grass land. It wasn't even like a maze. It was a very simple town map. But I'm glad they added more stuff in Johto. And once again, I'm showing all the Pokemon for the ones that are originally going to be in the Gold and Silver demo. Let me know which one sparks your interest, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video.